Yeah, we hold Billy too there. Okay, Bill, come
Ladies
on
and gentlemen,
around.
please hold it quiet.
Okay, that's the shot.
What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Hellhound Film Club. Bless you. Thank you for ripping a ticket to another installment of our program. I'm your host, Cody Pope, and tonight's episode is a little bit different as we're live from the Hellhound Lounge, aka my home. I'm doing this one from home for a couple of reasons, some of which I'll explain right now. My special guest for the evening is none other than writer, artist, horror film fan, the final girl, my fiancé, Nicolette Ryan.
Are you ready for the greatest fucking night of your life, Popey? We're really doing it, Pope man.
We're really doing it. We're really doing it, Pete Band. Oh, man. If you guys only knew how much I've been bugging Nick to do a podcast with me. So thank you for doing this one.
Thanks for having me. It's a good one to do.
Yeah. So I had wanted to do any episode of this with you, right? But for the viewers and listeners out there, Scream is, I would say, probably in like your top 5 film franchises, maybe. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely one of the ones that mattered, has had the most impact in our life, I would say. So when I mentioned that Scream 3 fit into the schedule, I was kind of hoping it would be a no-brainer, and I'm glad it was. So
Here I am.
I just spoiled it, but if you didn't see the thumbnail or listen to me just now, our special feature is Scream 3, originally released February 4th in 2000, which is the date this year a lot of you guys are going to be watching this episode, and hopefully you go watch the movie afterwards, or go watch it before and put this on after. That might even be the best recipe.
Or watch them at the same time. Just really overstimulate yourself.
Yeah, you honestly treat it like sports, and our podcast is commentary. We're like the John, or it's just like watching a movie with a commentary track.
Yeah, except we're funnier.
So to be totally honest, because not many people are seeing these episodes yet, but I'm sure somebody will say it at some point, so I'm gonna beat them to the chase. But this has kind of like slowly become my Mystery Science Theater 3000, where it's like I'm just watching movies just to like talk shit on them. But nevertheless, I'm sure a lot of you guys are asking why we're covering the third one. But as you'll come to learn, every time we drop one of these episodes, it comes out on the day or the week that the movie was initially released in theaters for the first time. So, interesting fact. Not sure if you knew, since you asked me if I was going to have some facts for you.
I'm ready.
Scream 1 and 2 were both released in December, but they broke the cycle and released Scream 3 in February.
That is a fact I did not know. This was the only movie that I got to see in theaters. I was lucky that my mom, shout out Holly, took me to the Ioka in Exeter, and we got to see it. I think it was opening night because there were so many people there that I don't imagine it was just like a random night of the week. Yeah, this was the first one that I got to see in theaters, so I didn't really have much cognizance to when it came out. The first two, it was more so when is it in Blockbuster that mattered to me back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, the third one was my first, like, old enough for my mom to not be judged for taking me to the theater with her to see it.
Shout out to the Ioka for that too.
Yeah.
But isn't that is cool? And it's like so I didn't figure out why there wasn't anything that like said why. But you would just think like, well, if it was working well in December, like why not keep it in December?
Well, we had watched a thing earlier in life together about like one of the ideas that had floated around for Scream 3, and Matthew Lillard was potentially going to come back then. And because of Columbine, they redid
That's
the
right.
whole thing. So I wonder if because of having to do like rewrites in such a way, if that like delayed it.
Yeah,
And maybe they.
I didn't even like put the two things together. Speaking of, we should highlight that. Let me make sure the camera can see this.
Oh yeah.
We're both rocking our Scream cups from Scream 5.
I can't. Sorry, Ghostface. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
We really about this life.
And our cat is a ghost face as well.
That's true. Our cat is Ghostface Killer.
Chilla.
So I guess we kind of just get into it at this point, huh?
So this is my first podcast that I've been a guest of. So do you go like through the whole movie and like go like summary, or what? How do you want to get into
quite.
this?
So we should start by kind of giving anybody, because there, believe it or not, there is going to be people who haven't watched it yet. And so, obviously I think it goes without saying that spoilers may happen, but we'll do our best not to. They will probably happen though, so
yeah,
just
they're gonna happen.
be forewarned. But I want to start by just giving them the rundown, because I think there's probably a lot of people out there who have watched or who are familiar with Scream and like know Ghostface. But I don't think people have like sat down and watched all of them necessarily. Like, I know obviously there are plenty of people who have, but I think that just breaking it down so people kind of know to differentiate which one in the series this one is. Do you want to like tell people what this one was about?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess you have to kind of talk about the first couple like quickly, at least to get to 3. So in the first one, we meet Sydney Prescott, Nev Campbell, babe of all babes, who her mom was killed horrifically a couple years or a year before we meet her. A man has been found guilty of the crime. She's essentially just like trying to be the most normal teenager she could be, whatever. And then someone starts killing off her friends, Ghostface, as we come to know. And he usually calls with some trivia about horror movies and then kind of makes you play a game for your life, almost like the original Jigsaw before Saw became a thing. You know what I mean? It was kind of like you're not going to win, but I might play this game with you and let you think that there's salvation somewhere.
That's like the big thing, is like the idea of just playing, like toying with people and toying with their emotions.
So inevitably, lots of people die. We come to find that at the end of the movie, it is, sorry for spoilers, Sydney's boyfriend and good friend who have made this whole thing happen because of an affair that Sydney's mother, who had been killed previously, had with Billy's father that caused his parents to divorce. So his mommy issues manifested in him murdering a lot of people. So Sydney ends up killing him, final girl, she wins. Stu also dies. We move on to the second one where Sydney's at college. There's only one person from the first student-wise who comes along with her, and then we also see Dewey and Gail, and it's just kind of Sydney surprisingly still trying to have some normalcy and go to school. I don't know if you ended up like killing people that I cared about and being responsible for my mom's death, that I would like jump back into school life, but respect her for it, so kind of the same thing happens. All her friends start getting killed off, and we're back to figuring out who could be doing this. And we find out that it's ex-boyfriend's mom and some weirdo from college. So then by the time we get to 3, which is, in my opinion, like, I think it gets a lot of unnecessary hate.
Yes,
Like, this
that's
is
definitely one thing I want to talk about.
yeah, like, this is like, I just love this friggin' movie. And we start with Sydney. Well, we don't even really start with Sydney. We start we kind of
Set in
revisit
Hollywood.
well, we start in Hollywood, and we kind of revisit with the gentleman who had originally been found guilty of having an affair and killing Sydney's mom, who obviously has since redeemed himself and been proven innocent and is now like Ellen DeGeneres, like
Yeah,
talk
he's like a
show
popular
host or
radio show
something.
host
Yeah.
or something.
So we start the movie meeting him, seeing what he's up to. And then we kind of end up in Hollywood where they're filming another stab movie, and we see Sydney is in like deep hiding in the woods, like goes by a different name. It has like a remote job long before that was even like a real concept for people. Just like is very isolated, and I think not only to protect herself, but obviously she is scared shitless to get close to anybody at this point because
Yeah.
they're probably going to die. So she's just in immense protection mode. And then inevitably, good old Ghostface comes back to coax her out, and she goes to Hollywood. And it's just such an interesting cast of characters. Parker Posey in this movie is like my favorite thing on
Yeah.
probably planet
She
Earth.
really is
Like,
such a gem.
and her and Courtney Cox together, I feel like, are a really awesome dynamic duo. I just love this movie. But yeah, we're just seeing Sydney like be forced out of hiding and forced once again to, I don't know, deal with other people's actions, essentially. And to be honest, I think I would have been okay if this was the end of the franchise.
Yeah. And it seemed like for a long time that it kind of was.
I think it should have been. Like, but not to say that I don't appreciate the newer movies for various reasons and different callbacks to the originals, but like, it hasn't felt the same since 3. And even though I know a lot of people argue like that has a whole different tone and feeling than even the first 2, I just feel like it ended things in such a good way.
Yeah. And this one's been re-examined a lot over the years, I feel like, too. Obviously, social stuff we can get into, but I think just the idea of how the film like came to life, for better or worse.
Yeah.
First thing I want to ask you is, and this is not so much about the movie as it is about you, but what was your relationship to this movie and your relationship to movies in general growing up?
So another shout out to my mom. I am really lucky to have a mom who really immersed herself and us in the arts, like musically and visually, be it movies or books or whatever. She always had those things for us to go to as like a, I don't know, just chill out method, you know? And one of the things that she was really into was horror movies. And when I was super young, I remember she was in some club that, I wish I remembered what it was, but
No, right?
they sent like Stephen King based movies, like VHS to her in the mail. I want to say like once a month. So we just like, you know, for a year probably got a new movie in the mail every month. We were always going to Blockbuster to buy or rent movies. So our collection was immense, but I don't know. She just always showed me horror movies, and there was something so admittedly terrifying. Like, there were definitely movies that like scared me when I was a child, but I don't know, something about the darkness and the weirdness like appealed to me, maybe because it kind of made it took the seriousness out of some of those things to me, and some of the things that, you know, my my mom dealt with medically when I was a kid were probably a little more serious than I was equipped to handle. So like seeing things acted out, it made it almost not real to me. You know what I mean? Or maybe made it real, but easy to digest
Yeah,
in
it
a
kind of
way.
like desensitized you to
Yeah.
like the vividness
Like,
of
I
it.
don't think I was affected by those things like probably a normal kid should have been. Because, like, my sibling, for example, had a very hard time with certain horror things. They've grown to appreciate them. But when we
Yeah.
were kids, I was an asshole and I used to be able to, like, throw on horror masks at Spencer's and, like, scare them out of the store. Like, I was not a very nice sister. But, yeah, that was just something that I always loved. And I think because I grew up with my mom's generation of movies, if you will, Scream was like my first connection to our generation, maybe. Like, obviously, we weren't the age of these people,
Yeah.
but we both had cousins or people of that age range who we looked up to, we were like, oh my God.
And even friends, honestly.
Well, I didn't have any friends that old when I was that. I know you were dating Hooters waitresses at a young age, so can't relate.
So maybe not. All right. So, because I guess we were probably what 12 or 13 upon initial release. It was 2000.
How old were we when we were in third grade? Yeah, I guess so. I have no concept of
Because I just remember in 2001 I was in 7th grade.
I guess 11, right? If it was in 2000, then it would make sense.
It would be.
We were 8 and 9.
So yeah. So yeah, 11.
So
So that's fair. So I definitely didn't have college age friends yet, but I guess it was just the idea of like having friends that were in like junior high and high school, and you always knew I guess I always knew somebody that was like on their way to college at some point, whether it was like a friend of my siblings or somebody that I went to school with, or music stuff. So it was like it was interesting to watch people of that age.
Well, and I also feel like for us, like, I don't want to sound like, I don't know, pretentious by any, but I feel like you and I were also more mature for our age, right?
Yeah.
So like the things that were centered or more made for us, right? Like on Disney, were like Bug Juice and fucking like camp shows. And you know what I mean? Like that was not, so I think we, for how our brains worked, also like sought out media of older people, because we understood that language more, or we liked their taste in things more. I don't know. I didn't watch like a lot of kid shows when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But then when I was a teenager, I loved to watch cartoons. Like it was backwards for me.
No, I feel you. As I got through like junior high is like when I found anime. And it was like one of those things where like earlier in life I didn't like outwardly talk about it with too many people, and then I got into junior high and there would be like punk kids that liked anime and like sports kids, and it was like, oh, like
I wish I got into anime younger. I don't think I watched anime until you and I started dating. You showed me some things, but like I don't know, the kids who watched anime in my school scared me. Like they were the type who would have
exactly.
like
they were
hit
always
you with their dragon backpack,
yeah,
like, and
they would be like Naruto kids sprinting home from the bus and shit. Like for real. I went to school with this girl on my bus every day, dude, and I felt like people were like roasting her and shit. So it was like mean, but like, dude, she'd get off the bus and like literally do. I don't know if you ever seen the Naruto run. It's like the guy who has his arms, but she'd literally do the Naruto run off the bus home, and
I
it's
love
like
that. There's a part of me that hopes that she was
today.
in on the joke, and she just did that because everyone thought it was funny. Wherever she is, I hope she's very successful now.
Yeah, for real. I hope she like works in the industry. She's like a executive at Funimation or something.
That's fun.
So I always ask people that I'm with when we do this, being that this was a rewatch, obviously, and you've seen this countless times, probably.
I could act it out for you.
I know that you watch the Scream franchise probably more frequently, on like at least a yearly basis. But how did you feel after this rewatch? I guess I don't know if your feelings changed. Did you?
I still love it, and I think that this time I thought it was more funny
Yeah.
than previous watches, and I don't know if that's just because, like, I was trying to put myself in someone else's brain to see what the criticisms were, because, like,
Yeah.
I've never understood them. So I was like,
I
what
think
is
that's the
what is
criticism right
different?
there.
Yeah, and I
is
was like,
that it's
what is
funny.
different about the tone of this movie that people would be upset by? And that was all I could think of, is that, like, I pointedly, like, found myself laughing more at this one.
Yeah.
And I think maybe previous watches, like, I always thought it was funny. There were always things that stood out to me as comedic, especially, like, I cannot say enough Parker Posey. Any moment
Oh,
she is
yeah.
on the screen is funny. Like, so
She's definitely one of like the redeeming.
God, what a gift.
Yeah.
Truly. Like, I just want to be her. But that's what I think it is people were uncomfortable with the comedy in such a sensitive subject matter, which may be
Yeah.
fair, but, like, I don't think that Sydney or her history were mishandled. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I thought it was cool the way that, I mean, it was kind of like bold of her to just show up at the police station and be like, "Yeah, I'm here.
yeah, but
What's
if the
good?"
killer called
But
her,
I liked it though.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't. It's hard for me to say if it's good writing, but I enjoyed it. I think
But from
that's
her like, if you were Sydney and you were in the woods, presumably nobody knew where you were, including Dewey, who you
Yeah.
keep in touch with, right? Like, and then the killer calls you on your private fucking home
yeah.
number.
You at that point
I would be
you
like,
just,
this dude's in the fucking woods. I'm gonna go get to be around people.
yeah.
You know?
No, you're not wrong there. That kind of leads me to the first point that I had, which was this is the first one in the franchise
Mhm.
that Kevin Williamson didn't directly write himself. And it turns out that he had so many things going on with like the Faculty and Dawson's Creek and all this.
If you ever do the Faculty, please have me on.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
I used to write fanfic for the Faculty. I just need you to know.
Oh my god. I love that.
I really hope that could never be found on fucking one of those archive pages, because
I hope so. I'm gonna
the hours,
I'm gonna print copies of
the
it.
hours I spent.
Oh my god, I need
It was
that.
like some One Direction shit. Like, you know how bitches went crazy on
Yeah.
Tumblr? Man.
Oh, I need a copy. I'll fucking DJ myself to it. So yeah, so Kevin Williamson like wanted to come back, but the Weinsteins, of course, didn't want to wait for him. So they ended up bringing in this guy named Aaron Kruger, who I guess like his most notable credit at the time was Arlington Road. I don't know if you remember
It
that.
sounds familiar.
It was like a
but
weird drama. I don't think I like.
Why does his name sound familiar though? Has he done other things since?
I think so. Honestly, let me look this up because I only took note of Arlington Road because I remember like I can remember like seeing trailers for that movie as a kid.
Am I allowed to ask you questions too?
Yeah, and there's no no rules here.
Were you into the Scream movies when you, because obviously we didn't know each other until we were 21, so
Yeah.
missed a lot of movie time together. But were you, I since we've been together, I've always gotten the sense that you kind of watch horror movies as a favor to me. Like, I've never felt like that is like something that you get excited about or you seek out. So it made me curious, like, was this or any other horror franchise, new or old, important to you in your youth? Like, I know as you've gotten older, you love The Twilight Zone, you love Alfred Hitchcock. So,
Yeah.
but those are not like slasher necessarily, if you will.
I think the biggest thing with and part of this is just because like anything that I've been into, I've been a huge snob about ultimately, and I've always been into movies my whole life. Like, you know, we've probably my parents have probably talked about it with us and stuff, but like as a kid, I would literally go to like the pay-per-view channel where it just played movie trailers all day. And if you were going to actually order the pay-per-view, you would like call the number, but I would just watch the trailers and like I would like memorize stuff, and I'd be like sitting at dinner talking about how, you know, Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr.'s Jerry Maguire's coming out, show me the money, like and my parents would be like, you've never seen this movie, like it's literally rated R. I don't know how you would have seen this. And I was like, I just it looks cool, I want to see it, like. And so that's when they picked up like, you know, same thing with like the Roger Rabbit, like they would just put on the, before I could even talk, they would just put the Roger Rabbit VHS on and I would just watch it on repeat. Like, and so I think that I enjoyed horror movies, but the biggest thing was being able to see them in theaters. That always kind of like set a precedent for me.
That's fair.
But then like obviously as like a Blockbuster kid too, or a Video Mat kid or rental store kid, I liked old horror movies. And there was a shift in like the late 2000s where I felt like horror movies were just getting really whack. Like there was just a lot, like you had cool, like you had The Ring, you had Saw, you had like different stuff that was like really cool. But then as you got closer and closer to 2010, it just became this like
suck.
Yeah, like this real like shock horror, like you know, gross like white pale face little girl that pops out of a corner, like it just became like very disinteresting.
Like it's been done.
Yeah. And so my like enjoyment of horror comes from like finding the undiscovered and finding the best way to experience it too.
So would you say that you're not really like into slasher stuff? Like you don't really appreciate gore, like you need it to be more of like a psychological thing for it to affect you?
That's hard to say because like one of my favorite movies of all time is Battle Royale,
but that has meaning behind it.
Yeah, but it's also like an immense amount of violence and like over the top blood and gore,
but that's what I'm saying,
so
is like look, Scream, like I'm not saying it's meaningless, but there's not some like moral of the story for you to go home and sit with and be like, wow, I need to really fucking live my life or fucking dye my hair blue or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Battle Royale, I feel like gives you morality questions, at least of yourself. Like, what would I do? And you
but
know,
even like, but then you go to like the Takashi Mike stuff, you know, like Itchy the Killer and stuff. Like
I've never seen that, so I'm sorry.
I'll put you on. I liked gory, violent stuff, but I felt cooler finding like unexplored. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I didn't want to watch like whatever like popular thing came out. So I think I liked horror in a way that like it would shock you that I knew it rather than like somebody popping around a corner to like when it became like jump scares. That's when I think I kind of started to tap out. And I was just,
you don't like jump scares.
It's not that I don't like it. That's the stuff that just like it's like doing crack. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, this is gnarly. Like my heart's racing, but then like what's it sandwiched between?
I don't know. You don't think there's something like kind of like, I don't know, like it's kind of like a climax, like especially if there is a good lead up to
that's why
it.
The experience is fun if you go to a theater. You know what I mean? Like if you see it in its intended setting and have that jump scare moment, whatever else.
Yeah, I've been pretty mad at you because it's easy at home for you to fall asleep, and there's been times I put scary movies on.
Yeah.
With the hope that you would keep me safe should whatever demon come through the TV and you fall asleep and all.
Yeah, but you might be probably looking at your phone during parts of the movie, or you'll get up and go to the bathroom or go and make a drink or something. That's the thing. It's like in a movie theater, nobody has the audacity unless you're gonna like piss yourself. You know, that's usually the only time a respectable person will walk out of a movie theater.
Well, you said respectable person. I don't know how many of those exist anymore, because I feel like the last time we went to the movies, when we went with Jeff and Chelsea, people were horrible.
Oh yeah, that was atrocious.
On their phone the whole time, talking the whole time.
But we've lost etiquette and decorum, and part of that is because we don't have enough people that go to the movies anymore. And so it's just a free-for-all for shitheads to be shitheads and make TikTok videos or whatever.
That's fair. Sorry, we can get back to Scream.
No, but I want to. You should just come on the podcast all the time. We'll talk all this shit. I think it's worth noting, another little fun fact here, I'll slide your way. Scream 3 set a record at the time of the widest theatrical opening of all time in the United States or Canada. It opened on 3,467 screens.
More than any other movie that had come out at that point.
Time.
That surprises me. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really cool to know, but I
mean, I'm sure.
Hadn't there been like Star Wars re-releases by that time and stuff?
So by
another movie I haven't seen.
In 2000, you were still, I think, a year away from the new like Star Wars movies coming out.
What about Titanic?
It's a good point. I wonder
that maybe that came out after. Because if this came out in February, we had the whole year for Titanic to come out, so it could have been a short-lived record, you know.
That's fair. No, Titanic was 97.
What? That's crazy that it had more of a release than Titanic. That surprises me a lot.
But you know what I think part of it is like Titanic was mad long.
Yeah, but Titanic was like, glorious.
No, absolutely. But just like if you run a multiplex that has X number of theaters, if you're running a 3.5 hour movie, you can't put that on like multiple screens. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That was another one I saw at the Ioka. And I remember they had an intermission.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I feel like the theaters hopefully made good money in that way because people probably went and got food twice. But...
And that was like some Wikipedia shit. Somebody could have bullshitted that. So
well, I liked it. Thank you.
Me too. Couple fun. I always write stuff down during the movies when I like want to make sure I don't forget them. Wanted to get your thoughts or maybe your facts on, was this the first one where the voice changer has like multiple voices in it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And sorry, go ahead.
No.
Go. When we were rewatching this, it was also the first time, spoiler, sorry, that not total spoiler, so you can still listen for a little. It was the first time when I realized, like, in the first kill scene, right, as the voice is changing, while we know for a fact that it's not the person it's purported to be, right?
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's kind of a giveaway right there. Like, only Hollywood would have some sort of technology or tool like that in this like area that we're in now, you know. So it was smart, you know, because obviously going into the movie, you're not going to think of that. You don't know what's coming. You don't know who the killer is. Presumably, you think it's somebody from Woodsboro, you know, who has now followed Sydney and continued the madness. But it was a clever, like, wait and see, you know, wait and see where this came from.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was the first time that they, and I don't think they've done it again.
That definitely caught me off guard because
they've used other people's phone numbers and stuff in other movies.
And they like clone their phones or something.
But I don't know that I don't recall them in any other movie doing that voice thing, which was cool and unsettling because that was the thing that I brought up to you during the movie too, is how scary for one particular character who you can't tell if she really grasps that it's not her partner murdering her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that's also the first piece of easy fodder for critics is like, oh, you just happen to have this voice changer that does all these people's voices that you know.
But these are all, I mean, but they're all celebrity figures. How hard would it be to have these people's voices? Presumably even Sydney Prescott has done an interview at some point where they can alter or clip things because she didn't even, when they stole her voice or used her voice, it was kind of quick, you know what I mean? So it seemed indefinitely like it was like spliced together, and so I don't know. I thought it was clever.
Okay.
Fuck the haters, dude. That's how I feel.
She's putting it out there. She's letting you know what it is. Fuck the haters.
Ray Donovan is right in the beginning.
I know, right? Yeah, you get
Ray Donovan.
You get Ray Donovan right at the top of the flick, driving the white Bronco.
Was it a Bronco?
I'm not sure.
I didn't notice.
I don't think it was. It was probably.
It is a white SUV though.
Probably like some like Eddie Bauer Explorer or some shit like that.
I would love it if it was a Bronco. Not like that, like rest in peace, Nicole. But I mean, just like that would have been kind of clever for Cotton Weary to be driving a white Bronco.
That would have been a cool little Easter egg. Obviously, one of my other favorite Easter eggs is the once again recurring red right hand.
Yeah.
That is like
that's not the one I thought you were gonna say, but yes, of course.
Well, I'm getting there. That's just sequential.
I wonder, has Nick Cave ever like talked about Scream? Like, I wonder if he's ever been like, it's really cool that they fuck with my song so heavy.
Yeah.
Like, or if he thinks it's stupid, and he's like,
probably bought him a lot of real estate.
Fair enough. A lot of black hair dye and gel.
Yep. A lot of suits.
He deserves it.
Yeah, I would give it to him.
Yeah.
I didn't even say pause. That's how much I mean it.
Well, we're learning new things in our relationship this evening, folks. That's delightful.
Oh, okay. So I'm getting to the cameo that you were thinking of, but the next one that shows up is when they're on set and they're doing like they're having like a quick meeting between a couple of the studio execs. One of the studio execs is Roger Corman, which I just thought was awesome because tying somebody of his legacy as a director and a filmmaker into the Scream universe is just so fitting for what he's done for.
I feel like it shows how respected Wes Craven is, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I think that Wes Craven makes fun of himself, and I feel like it empowers people to do the same.
Yeah.
You know, I do think it's cool that, like, because even in the first Scream, I don't know if you remember, there's a scene where Henry Winkler goes to look out in the hallway and there's a janitor with a Freddy Krueger Wes Craven and I just thought that was cute, like maybe a little kitschy or like predictable maybe to people, but I thought it was like charming. This little old man is like proud of his works and like shouting it out.
Like, I like that too, because to me that's a nod to like Hitchcock. Hitchcock was like famously almost always an extra.
Stephen King too movies. Is nearly always an adaptations of his books,
you know, and that goes back to a lot of like famous like writers and filmmakers and stuff. So I think it's cool when people find ways to do that, honestly.
I do too. And it's like, I don't know, I think it's a cool way to live. Obviously your work, you know, what you're putting all your energy into and empowering all these people to do is going to stand the test of time. But I do think it's cool to probably, as a director who's always bossing other people around, to kind of get to try on a little make-believe once in a while, you know? And it's also interesting to see how many actors become directors, you know? It's cool that hat seems to be kind of like interchangeable for the right people, you know?
It almost seems like the apprentice becoming the boss kind of thing, where it's like, who better than the person that's been under the thumb of scrutiny doing the job? Like, and
also in the opposite, who better than the ultimate critic than to just get in front of the fucking shit and do it better than everybody, you know, or do it the way you want it to be done. Yeah, no, I think it's cool. I liked that, and I thought it was cool. I don't know, like, just that he was an elderly man and he wasn't like too proud to like put on a little silly Freddy Krueger sweater, make fun of it. Like, I just loved it. He's so cute.
But that's like the epitome of Scream in general. You know what I mean? Like, the whole franchise is in a way a satirical look at the thrasher genre, but doing it in such a great fashion at the same time. You know, it's like it's like, look, I am part of this, so I can critique it. And while I critique it, let me show you how good it could be if you put some extra thought into it.
I don't know about it for you too, because you obviously grew up in a city, but like growing up in Exeter, very like small town vibes. There was something about Scream that felt like home, the setting of it.
I could see
So
like
yeah,
Woodsboro kind of
like I can
yeah.
remember coming home from school on a fall day and like laying on my couch and being like, oh, I feel like Sydney Prescott right now. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, it just, I don't know. I just felt like it felt real. And despite the horror of it all, there was a comfort to that setting. And like, I don't know, maybe it was the set designer that I really need to, because even like on your parents' street, their Bill's house always reminds me of the front of Stu's house from Scream. And for that reason, I am just obsessed with that house. Like,
That's so funny. I don't know if you've ever told me that before.
really? I feel like
Yeah.
the greenhouse, right, is Bill's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love it. And it always reminds me of Stu Macher's house in Scream 1. And there's just something, and maybe that's the unsettling thing too about that movie, is it is comforting, and these do feel like people you could be friends with, and these are settings that you've been to either daily because it's your house or it's your friend's house or whatever. And man, like just the brutality of it. At the time, the news is horrible now. We read about this shit on the daily. So I think back then it was like, what is happening in this little small town? You know?
It seemed a lot more fictional.
Yeah. And shit like that didn't happen in Exeter. You know what I mean? Like people weren't going ratchet in that way. So
Yeah,
it was like, is this what
exactly.
really happens in like other places?
Now,
Mm.
what I assume you thought I was going to lead with, my favorite cameo throughout the entire film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because every episode we've done has like unknowingly tied back to like something that is like a big part of my life. And so this being a Miramax film, we get a brief cameo from the world-renowned Jay and Silent Bob. So that obviously warms my heart as a View Askew Universe resident. And it's interesting now to look back at that too, because obviously the Miramax thing is controversial in and of itself.
Yeah.
Having Kevin Smith in the movie, who knowingly had outward battles with the Weinsteins before all the stuff came out about them.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing of like the corrupt movie system and a lot of the innuendo and remarks that they make, and how it was like, looking back at it all these years later, it's almost like a damnation of what was happening under people's noses.
What was interesting is even some of the like when we get deeper into the movie, and Dewey and Gail and Jennifer Parker Posey's character, who's playing Gail Weathers in Stab, so she's kind of like cosplaying as Gail through the whole movie. Like, I don't know if we ever see who Jennifer the person is.
It's almost like she's like method acting.
Yeah, and it's so great. But they go and meet Milton is the director's name, who is like basically, I guess, like a Weinstein kind of character at this point. Like he runs the show, you know, like Roman is the director, but this guy is like the one who's
the studio head.
Yeah. So when they go to meet him, he talks about old Hollywood parties and how men would help girls get jobs if they did the right things. And I don't know, I won't go down the rabbit hole because it's dark, but I love to read old Hollywood gossip. I love, well, all Hollywood gossip really, but there are some really dark stories about some directors we really know and love to this day. And part of me wonders if that story came from one of the bigger stories about that person, and one of the child actors who is no longer with us today, who is also a horror, the girl from Poltergeist.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So Yeah, it does seem like there was maybe some secrets being told inadvertently, or maybe intentionally, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe
I feel
Wes
like
Craven was figuring like,
trying to raise,
let it out now. Who knows how much time I have, you know.
And it's like worst thing they could do is tell them no.
And you have to think, right? Like, and this is not coming from like an apologist or excuse place, but there have to be many people who knew about Harvey Weinstein and
Without a doubt.
we're not okay with it.
But they were afraid to speak out.
Or not even if they were afraid. I'm sure, like, let's even Courtney Love, one of my I have very weird feelings about her because while I think she is one of the most wildly intelligent people on planet Earth, I don't think she's healthy.
Absolutely.
And this woman has been screaming about this man for years and years and years, and everybody looked at her like she was crazy. I think that there are probably many more people like that who were ready to say names, but I think that unfortunately we've seen that money buys a lot of silence, and even if those people were loud, if nobody's picking up the story, who cares?
Yeah.
You know? And I think it was easy, even though Courtney Love was in a position for people to listen to what she said because she had made such a spectacle of herself in maybe negative ways and in non-productive ways, it was easy to write her off as a Looney Tune, you know? But I do think like probably Wes Craven and stuff were not down if they were aware of things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But they also came up in a different time too, so who knows? We can't excuse. We can only do better than previous versions. You know?
Ain't that the truth? On a lighter note, another. I feel like I'm just going through all the great cameos.
Oh, Carrie.
Huh?
We got to talk about Carrie Fisher.
That was exactly what was the next thing on my note. That, I mean, so Jay and Silent Bob was my favorite cameo. Carrie Fisher's had to be the best cameo.
Yeah, she was great.
She just absolutely knocked it out of the park. That was so funny.
Yeah, she really was great. And another one, like, how cool that she just like unabashedly made fun of herself and
exactly
did not give a shit, you know?
Like George Lucas, like, I'm sure he probably thought that was mad funny too. So man, there's so much that we could say about this, but truly give this if you guys haven't watched this before, if you've avoided it, if you just haven't turned it up for whatever reason, I really think this is worth giving a chance.
Yeah.
I think if you saw this a long time ago and convinced yourself you didn't like it as much as the other ones, that's okay, but it's still worth re-examining. I think you will enjoy yourself much more if you let your barrier down a bit. I think I've told you before too. I'm a little biased, but I the second one I think is like the best one. Like,
I think your love of that one comes from the intense like film critiquing that goes on in it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like,
I'm not negating that it's a great one, but I think
what I
that's
mean.
your
Like,
appeal.
That's why to me it's the best. Obviously the first one goes without saying.
Yeah,
the first
untouchable.
The first one is probably the best and the most brilliant.
But for me, I will say the third one is tied.
And see, that's the thing, is I think a lot of people, you know, you probably have the biggest percentage of people who saw the first one, and then it just probably progressively goes down until you get back to 4. And because
I don't want to be friends with anybody who thinks 4 is even close to any of the first 3 or 5 or 6.
That's fair.
I'm angry.
That's fair. But
I'm angry at them already. Okay, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say we did have a nice little date.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the
Scream 4.
existence of it, but I'm mad at anyone who would ever watch that. I'm mad at anyone who would ever watch that movie and be like, yeah, wow, this got better. No, it didn't. It fucking didn't. Emma Roberts played Emma Roberts. Wow.
I'm
Rory
not mad at you.
Rory Culkin is the best part of that movie.
Oh God, that's saying something.
But he's cool.
Yeah.
Culkin's, you can't go wrong with a Culkin. They are great at being psychopaths.
Yeah, but they didn't even give him like the big. You know what I mean? It's like he's like a supporting character
He's
trying
the
to.
killer, babe. He's one of the killers. We told you there were spoilers, okay?
Yeah, you weren't kidding. Lost my train of thought.
Because I made you mad because I spoiled it.
That's fine.
Well, guys, this is my last appearance on Hellhound Film Club.
No, Scream 4.
I'm not invited
Scream
back.
4 is probably not on this list because I bet you they went back to putting them out in December or something like. You know what I mean?
No, we saw it in April.
Oh, so even weirder.
We went on 420 to that.
Damn, it's a good day. So I always ask this next question.
Mm-hmm.
It may seem stupid of me to ask because you would think that there's only one answer, but I do feel that certain movies dictate certain viewing circumstances, and as we get deeper into the series, everyone will kind of see like certain movies that can go either way. But for you, how do you feel if somebody was going to walk into this blind and see this for the first time and they had the opportunity to see it in any capacity? Should they see it in a theater? Should they watch it at home on like home video? Or, you know, should you watch it with friends? Should you watch it by yourself?
I think it depends on the person, because for me, I do love going to a theater. I don't think that there is any comparison really to that.
Exactly.
And I feel beyond fortunate that I was at an age that I could see this movie in a theater, and that I had a theater in Exeter at the time that was like, I went there all the time. Like, I didn't realize until it didn't exist anymore how much I took that place for granted.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that experience. What I will say though, as a person who gets overstimulated by things and distracted very easy, there were a lot of people, a lot of noises, a lot of reactions happening that sometimes would take me out of myself, which is not always a bad thing, but in certain movies, I think I want to just be able to like marinate with things. There were scenes in this movie though that I thought were scarier than other ones, and I think you know what the dream sequence that she has. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That I found so creepy and haunting, and I remember being grateful the first time I saw it that my mom was like right there with me, because I think that like watching that alone would have like I think that would have like given me like sleeping problems for a couple days, you know. So it's I think that if you're a person who gets like is genuinely is not like a all the time horror fan maybe, and this is like a little dip in the pond, I think it's a good place to start because of the humor and because it's a little bit more digestible in that way, because there are so many comedic relief moments. I think you should see it with someone in a theater or at home, but yeah, I just think watch it anywhere, anytime. If it does come out in a theater, how could you not?
Yeah.
I don't have, man, we haven't got to see the Scream like trilogy in theaters, huh?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Someone do that, please.
I think we saw 1 and 2 on separate occasions.
Did we?
I think so, or at least 2. I feel like we saw on like a repertory screening or something.
Oh, well, yeah. So I obviously think there's no comparison to theaters. It's just
how did we watch this one?
We watched it here at home. Oh, and we had a DVD because I have that. Yeah. Where is it?
It's under that pile of cat hair. just part of her collection.
Can you see?
So we had been looking for a long time, and we had found this. Must have found it a few years. I think. Did we find it at a Best Buy?
I kind of think we got it at Bull Moose.
Hopefully, that sounds right. But it was like one of those things we had looked for them for a long time, and I think it was before. It was either before Scream 4 came out or like right around that time. And that was the first Blu-ray that we found of them.
Yeah, it was definitely when one of the new ones was coming out because I was gonna make you do a marathon with me.
So I don't know if there is like an updated 4K or a box set or anything like that yet. I'm sure like 4, 5, and 6 probably have like 4Ks that just came out right after or whatever.
Mhm.
But if you need a good copy, this Blu-ray will do the trick for now.
And just as a little tip, it comes with all 3 movies, but then there's also Still Screaming, the ultimate scary movie retrospective. And then there's also Scream, the inside story, which are a couple behind the scenes. The Scream, the inside story one is a 90-minute documentary about the Scream story. Sick. And then the other one, it has cast and crew from Scream 1 through 4. So, get it.
Long live physical media, baby.
You should watch all of them, though. Especially if you're our age and somehow missed.
Which is very young, by the way.
Which is a very young, mature, got your shit together, 36. You know?
We're like 20-year-olds that were born in the 70s.
Yeah. Kind of. I just feel like the nostalgia is great. If you haven't watched it in a bunch of years, like, I don't know, it's refreshing to see cell phones, but without, like, the phone is a big part of this movie, right? But it's not like, I don't know, it's so different. You know what I mean? Like, these things happen because of the phone, but like, it's not the central focus, you know? I'm so sick of seeing cell phones in movies.
Yeah,
I'm really sick of iPhones.
Seeing cell phones in general, honestly.
Yeah. I'm really tired of it. I get excited when I see even like a razor on screen now. It's like,
can I tell you, somebody got in my car today, and the only reason that I didn't drive the car into like a 18-wheeler going the opposite direction
is because me and Ghost were waiting here for you.
Well, that too. Yo, this lady gets in my car and starts playing like TV off of her phone.
Was it Housewives?
No, it was The Price is Right.
Well, that's kind of cute.
And that's why. And that was the only. And I said, Graham, you just kept this person alive. I'm telling you, if it was any other program, the two of us would have been in a ditch somewhere. But I was like, lady, you just kept your life today.
That's funny.
You picked The Price is Right.
What if it had been Real Housewives?
Oh, we definitely would have, like, I would have for sure careened into like the nearest oncoming traffic.
Wouldn't it have been more satisfying if she was like early in like Atlanta and you could just be like, that bitch gets divorced from that dude. He's going to prison, and ruin it for them.
I could.
Because you know.
But I don't want to participate in their culture.
Too late, babe. I am slowly working my way to becoming Nene Leakes, and you're gonna love it.
I'm gonna find a way to become a
Nene
more
Peeps.
and more pretentious film snob, and I'm gonna be like, life is only black and white. With a
Greg's pretty chill. He's
French
probably
noir
on some heavy
soundtrack.
tranquilizers, so we might be on the right path, Popey.
All right, well,
Ryan Murphy's gonna call me soon. I just know
would
it.
rock with some tranquilizers. Ryan Murphy's doing real well. He has a great show about a lawyer out right now, I think.
What show is that? Are you being funny?
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know, the Kim Kardashian show that everybody loves.
Oh, yeah, that one.
All right, so I got two more for you.
Okay.
You are obviously the judge, jury, and executioner of your own personal review of this film. Are there any pros or any cons that we did not mention.
Any pros or cons that we didn't mention?
Like anything that stands out in this from the other ones in the trilogy, or anything that happened in this that you're like, if I could change anything, it would be.
I honestly I don't think so. I really liked the way this movie was done. I was thinking earlier today that it was interesting. Like in the first movie, we don't really get to know Sydney all that well. Like all we really know about her is that she's like a virgin who lost her mom horrifically the year before and has like a semi-sociopathic boyfriend who is seemingly about her but a little bit scary. Like that's really all we know.
Yeah.
So, and then when we meet her in the second one, we see that she is into the arts, kind of like she's an actress. That's what she's like doing in school. So which I thought was interesting because like to meet Sydney in the first one, although we don't get to know her personality very much other than being like a fighter or whatever you may call it. The acting thing is interesting. And then to go into the third one where presumably she's like, well, fuck that. Like, because of everything that's happened, I'm going to stay away. I'm not going to act. I'm not going to put myself out there like that. But then we find out that her mother had a Hollywood career prior to Sydney that Sydney didn't even know about. There was just like some cool, like, oh, so was it just like in her blood because of her mom? And was this, it was like a weird connection to the first one and how little we knew about Sydney and how little she knew about her mom. But then it meshed weird in this one that I thought I had never thought about until this rewatch that I
feel you on that.
That I liked. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Parker Posey is in this movie.
You did not mention that.
And she's great. And watch it for Parker.
Right. Okay, and finally, as the master of your own domain and the admin on your own Letterboxd account, what would you give this out of 5 stars?
I feel like you will judge me because I know that you're very stingy with your kitty cat when it comes to the stars on Letterboxd.
But that's why you're a master of your own domain. You rate it as you see it.
I think I would give it like a 5 because it genuinely makes me happy.
So it's like a perfect movie in your eyes.
I just think that's such a hard question. Like, no, obviously I'm sure that if Kevin Williamson wrote it, he probably could have done something real fucking cool.
You're not doing a review for Siskel and Ebert to distribute to the New York Times. This is just for you.
But what if Nev Campbell sees this and she's like, you bitch, after everything I've done for you? If I say something disrespectful,
Why would 5 stars be disrespectful?
If I'm being lazy with it, if she would be like, listen, ma'am, I guess maybe if I had like maybe 4.5. I do wish there were maybe a little bit a few more Woodsboro people.
Yeah.
I guess. I do. Oh, we didn't talk about it, but I should because this movie is also very important to my life. Welcome to the Dollhouse, which we see the little love Heather as Randy's sister in Scream 3.
Oh, that's right.
Love her. Love Welcome to the Dollhouse. So it was like to see her was very nice. And she kind of has the vibe of the wiener dog in Welcome to the Dollhouse, if you will.
Oh my god, that's golden.
So yeah, I guess if I have to be like a little bit critical, I'll do 4.5. But it overall makes me very happy. I don't watch the movie and be like, I don't ever think like, well, fuck about anything about it.
That's fair. I think my only if I wanted to, I could be critical about a couple things.
Tell me. I want to know your, because that's the thing is as someone who has loved this movie from the first time I saw it, I am curious why people don't like it.
So here's one thing, and you brought up violence and gore to me, and asked my feelings on like watching slasher films and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
This felt like the most like disjointed violence, where it was like you seldom ever saw somebody get stabbed. It
This
was
was
always
the first time we had one killer.
but it would be like the camera would like show the person and then like almost pan off and then come back and they'd be like bleeding and stuff already. It wasn't like you didn't like see the act happen enough. And that is
I'm trying to like picture all the kills in my head. I can't think of one that you other than what, like a girl in the house towards the end.
I think there's definitely the least amount of on-screen violence in this out of the rest of the franchise.
Well, and I do think that it was pointed though because this was the first movie without two killers.
Well, that's fair.
Like only one person was making the calls and had to be all the places. So I'm sure they did have to. I guess
seemed like between that and
next
the
time I watch,
dialogue.
I'll have to like rewatch that because I don't negate. Like I agree with you that it's not as brutal as the other two.
Yeah,
but I kind of just equated that to the fact that, well, this one person had to make all the shit happen. Whereas like in the other ones, like Stu was making a phone call while Billy was fucking doing the legwork, or vice versa. You know.
That's fair. But yeah, I mean that was really the only thing that I like noticed a lot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I feel like you know what? I'm almost certain that I reviewed this like probably right after we watched it. What did I do? Yeah, I went with 3 stars. I said, I can understand why this isn't the most highly praised of the series, perhaps, but it's a really fun watch nevertheless. I don't want to tear it up too much because the few things that weren't great were outweighed by the overall experience. Loved that Red Right Hand came back. Thought it was awesome seeing Roger Corman. But a bunch of stuff I already mentioned tonight. But yeah, I thought it was like a solid 3, and that's like
fair for you.
Yeah,
because it's not like you, and I don't mean that in like a rude way. You just like more intelligent, like thought-provoking things. So for that to have entertained you enough for you to give it a 3,
yeah. I mean, I don't
impressive.
I don't want to be like pretentious.
No. But I just mean like usually you'll rate things a fucking 2 if it's not your vibe, you know. So we've moved up a point. That's great. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. So all in all, you guys need to go watch the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
Goes without saying. This was obviously super fun. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you so much for inviting me to our apartment to do this with you.
Glad you came by.
And thank you for letting me have your spot on the couch.
You're welcome.
Made him switch with me.
Yeah.
It's in my rider. Ariana Grande taught me.
Real quick, I know I just read my friggin' review of Scream 3, but believe it or not, I have watched other movies this week. And I'm going to go backwards because my latest review is the episode you guys are going to watch next week. So I'm going back to January 24th. I watched Nouvelle Vague. So I've probably mentioned it before. I also did a older Hellhound Film Club episode on one of my favorite films, Breathless. The camera cannot show it, but there is a Breathless poster behind the screen that we're using. So Nouvelle Vague is a movie that basically plays out the making of Breathless. And so it has actors playing the actors from Breathless, and Jean-Luc Godard and Francois Truffaut and all of these people.
I did start some of it with you, but fell asleep.
Yeah.
I thought what I saw was really cool, though.
So what I wrote after, like immediately after, was I can't imagine that this was an easy task to make a film about. Believe it to the legendary Richard Linklater to brilliantly weave this story. And for frame of reference, not to like educate you, but Richard Linklater made Slackers amongst a bunch of other incredible films. Slackers is the movie that Kevin Smith saw that made him want to make Clerks. Just to bring that full circle.
That's cool.
So like him being on this, I had very little concern that this was going to be bad. I just have faith in a filmmaker like him. I really enjoyed this so much, and it's like one of the few movies that genuinely like brought a smile to my face.
You did seem happy in this.
Really
it was nice to see. Were the actors all French, really?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
Breathless is one of my favorite movies, and I agree with like the pop culture census that it's definitely one of the most influential movies of all time. This was a really cool way to pay homage to all of the adversity and the challenge that went into making such an impactful film. And the only other thing I had to say was that I pray this gets released on Blu-ray one day, because I don't want to have to go to Netflix to watch it all the time.
That would be cool. Do you think that we should make a movie about making Clerks? And if so, can I play Jay?
That would be incredible. I'm totally down. But there is a couple like documentaries about the making of Clerks.
No, I'm saying like we do like this movie you just watched.
I'm down. I'm totally
Jay.
down. I'll be Bob.
Okay.
Learn all his lines. So Nouvelle Vague gets 4 stars from me. Definitely one of my like more favorite movies that I've watched in recent times. If you like the movie review part of the show where I like get more in depth with a particular movie, I literally review everything that I watch. I watch multiple movies a week. We host the live Hellhound Film Club screenings every week as well. So I'm always putting up different reviews on there. If you want to see those, read them, get involved in the film community. Not only am I on Letterboxd, there's people like Martin Scorsese is on Letterboxd. All sorts of people from the movie industry will put what they're watching, put their reviews, put lists of movies that influence them for things that are coming out. It's a really great community. You can get involved. It's free. It's awesome. And so if you want to get involved in Letterboxd, obviously I encourage you to follow me. And here's a little bit about that before we go get some popcorn for the evening. I know that said Cody Central, but that is my other show that I do on Mondays. So if you are ever interested in checking that out, we're almost 50 episodes deep. Cody Central airs every Monday at 8 p.m. live right here on Hellhound Publishing's YouTube channel.
Are you going to have me back again?
I would be honored to have you back anytime you're willing to come back.
You're going to show me maybe some movies that I haven't seen.
That's my hope. I would love that.
Maybe we could let the people judge.
I had to drag you out to a Wednesday night too. It's a different vibe. I know you don't like going out on weeknights so much, but it's a good time out there. We're live Wednesdays at the Spot in downtown Nashua, New Hampshire. So before we go, I'm going to read off a couple movie events, movie screenings, things that are coming up, free screenings, things that we would encourage you to check out, different stuff like that. If you have a movie event coming up, if you have a film screening or some film related event and you want us to plug it, please shoot me an email at codycentralshow@gmail.com. That's the email for the pod network right now. Send me any information about your event and I'll be happy to plug it. For now, here's a couple cool things coming up. On Sunday, February 8th, Mixed Blood is going to be playing at the Film Forum in New York, New York. Cinematography Films is presenting their 4K restoration of the 1980s vicious gang war film from director Paul Morrissey, which also features the debut of actor John Leguizamo. This is being presented as part of Film Forum's ongoing Tenement Stories from Immigrants to Bohemians film program. Also on Sunday, February 8th, more local to us, is The Defiant Ones, presented by the Nashua Public Library at NPL Theater, right here in Nashua, New Hampshire. On this week of NPL's Sunday Cinema Classics, they're going to be screening The Defiant Ones, which is a 1958 classic about two escaped convicts chained together who have to learn how to work to evade capture. The following Sunday continues NPL's Sunday Cinema Classics at the Nashua Public Library. This time they're going to be screening Mary Poppins on Sunday, February 15th. The 1960s pop culture icon from a story of a turn-of-the-century London magical nanny employs music and adventure to help two neglected children become closer to their father.
A very recent Etsy search of mine has been Mary Poppins purse.
That's funny.
Because that woman has the most epic handbag you'll ever see in your life, and she can fit the whole world in it. And I've been looking, so it's funny that came up.
Well, we should definitely go to that one. It's the day after Valentine's Day. And lastly, as part of NPL's Sunday Cinema Classics for Sunday, February 22nd, they're screening Sweet Smell of Success, the 1957 classic with Burt Lancaster and Tony Curtis, where a powerful Broadway columnist coerces an unscrupulous press agent into breaking up his sister's romance with a jazz musician.
Rude.
You telling me? And as always, we like to shout out some of our favorite theaters in the area. Hopefully we'll get a chance to travel and check out theaters near you. Send us your recommendations. We happen to be in New England, so we love the Coolidge Corner Cinema. Shout out to the Coolidge Corner with some of the best programming and the most historical events happening there all the time. Shout out to the Brattle Theater, also in the Cambridge, Massachusetts, outside of Boston area. Another theater that's historical and has incredible programming year-round. Big shout out to the Wilton Town Hall Theater in Wilton, New Hampshire. It's actually a free cinema. It's in the old town hall building that's been there since the 1800s, and multiple times a week they have 2 screening rooms that they'll show movies in.
It's so cute in there.
It really is so
I love
cool.
it.
I don't know if I brought this up on the pod last time, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but we went there for our first time, and it was because The Player was screening there, and that's like another movie of mine that I adore, and I'd never had a chance to see it in a theater setting. So I was like, well, we have an excuse to go check out this theater I've wanted to see forever. So we show up, we have no idea what to expect. The building is like adorable. It's got all these cool like historical plaques on the outside and stuff. You walk in, you go upstairs. There's like a old man who runs the concession stand.
Cash only, just a heads up.
Cash only. There's no ATM anywhere nearby. But the movies are free. You just pay cash for the concessions. They were showing 2 movies the night we went.
Jaws was the other one, I think.
Spoiler alert. Jeez.
Oh, shit. Sorry. I thought I was contributing to this show.
You were, but don't worry. We'll work on this. We'll get some practice laps in. No, you're not done. You're just getting started. You got to get him excited. You go. We went.
Jaws was playing in the other theater. Oh.
You go. We were going to see The Player, so we were already excited. But on the other screen turned out to be the 50th anniversary of Jaws.
Wow. You're going to need a bigger boat.
See, we'll work this out.
Okay.
And lastly, we're going to plug this all year because I hope to meet and get more people involved. But the New Hampshire Film Festival is going to be happening October 15th through the 18th throughout downtown Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Submissions are open now for filmmakers, and for details on that, just visit nhfilmfestival.com.
Just go to downtown Portsmouth for your soul anyway.
Straight up. Before we head out, a couple of recommended film and cinema podcasts that I like to talk about. And if you guys send me any recommendations, I'm going to add them to this list. But for now, you must remember this: themed seasons of intricately researched podcasts about the secret and or forgotten histories of Hollywood's first century. One of my favorite podcasts. I've been following this for probably over 10 years now. Every season is a different specific theme. Just some of the best, most accurately researched stuff imaginable. Joe and Ronan talk movies. Stand-up comedians Joe List and Ronan Hirschberg do as the title implies and talk about movies. That is a much more like funny comedic. They have really good takes on movies that are funny. So you can check that out on YouTube. And lastly, one of my favorite podcasts that I've listened to, One Handshake Away, hosted by cinema icon Peter Bogdanovich shortly before his passing. One Handshake Away is a collection of unprecedented long-form conversations with some of the most acclaimed directors working today. Quentin Tarantino, Ken Burns, Greta Gerwig, and many others pay homage to the influence of the directorial legends of the past, bringing listeners one handshake away from the icons of Hollywood's past and present. This was an absolute blast. Thank you guys for watching this. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Sorry for spoiling all the things.
You guys, please bomb the comments and just say that we need more Cody and Nick episodes, more home base episodes. I'm going to try and get her on the show as often as I can. So
one of the things we've talked about is Cody finds it comical how many classic American films I have not seen, such as Star Wars. So if you made it this far, maybe take a vote on what are some movies that I haven't seen that you would want people to vote on.
I mean, I think Star Wars is like,
that's a big commitment.
I know, but even just 4, 5, and 6, like if nothing else.
But when you say that to me, that's really 1, 2, and 3, right?
So they were the first 3 movies that came out.
I don't like this game. Like, they're the first movies. Can't they just be that? Why do they have to be 4, 5, and 6? I'm already stressed about this.
Because as we were talking about before, it originally was only those 3 movies, and multiple decades later, they opted to make prequel movies. So these characters as young people, and that's why there's episode 1, 2, and 3.
I see.
So that turned this into 4, 5, and 6.
I don't know. That bothers me a little bit, but
you were just showing Carrie Fisher so much love, dog. Honor her work.
Okay. All right.
Chat.
So I guess we're not voting anymore. I guess Star Wars is what it is.
But we're gonna do a whole series that'll come out on Patreon first, and it's gonna be all movies that she's never seen.
And then he's gonna watch chick flicks.
Yeah, I've probably seen them at this point.
I don't think so.
Well,
or you can watch him watch Real Housewives of Atlanta with me.
You're gonna have to start a pod network for that.
I would.
All right, we got it.
You're my co-host. Catch us on
Real Housewives of
Gate City coming soon.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This week, you've got bonus episodes coming your way. If you're on the Patreon, you're getting them the day they're supposed to come out. If you're on YouTube, you're going to get them this week. But you've got at least 3 new episodes coming your way very soon. We recorded some of them before this one tonight. So get excited. That's all from us. Much love. And don't forget the popcorn. Good night, everybody.